Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 23, entitled Being Past Focused. Before I get started, I wanted to invite you to join my Seasons of Joy community. I know I've talked about it before, and I just wanted to extend another invitation. I'm going to be going live there on Thursday, August 18th at 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Savings Time. I'm going to be teaching a little bit, taking some questions, and doing a little bit of coaching for anyone that would like to. I hope to see you over there. Again, Seasons of Joy community. You can find the link in my show notes. I also would like to invite you to an awakening retreat. I'm going to be holding this in Garden City, Utah, right next to the beautiful Bear Lake on October 6th through 8th. It's an opportunity for women of faith to gather together in an intimate setting to refocus, reconnect, and rejuvenate. You can go to my website, www.seasons-coaching.com/awakening-retreat. That link will also be in the show notes. I would love to have you there. I would love to have you join me. There are a few spots left, and it's going to be amazing. So, on to the episode, Being Past Focused. Have you ever had thoughts like the following? It is just the way I am. It shouldn't have happened that way. I used to be thinner. I used to be happier. Things used to be better. I have never done that before. I don't know how. I should have done it differently. I made a big mistake. She shouldn't have said that. He never listens to me. This always happens to me. It was better then. My guess is that as a human, you've probably had thoughts similar to these. And these are past focused thoughts. And as we get older, we tend to define ourselves more and more by our past. Past focused thoughts are a way our brain tries to protect us. At the primitive level, the human brain was designed for survival. The brain is always trying to find evidence to determine what we can expect in the future in order to keep us safe. And this served our ancestors well, and it helped keep them alive. And it serves us too, sometimes. However, most of the time in this modern world, we don't need to operate from this lower brain very often. If your story about your past includes any thoughts like the ones I just mentioned, then you're going to feel negative, defeated, and upset. And those emotions will determine what you do or don't do in the future. Now remember, our emotions fuel all of our actions. So often we beat ourselves up over the past like it will in some way move us to where we want to go, believing that if we just beat ourselves up enough, then things will get better, believing that if we argue against our past, it will make it right somehow. It's so easy to go to the past because it doesn't take much effort. It doesn't require us to use our creativity, and it requires that we believe things we don't know yet. But this never works. Success and happiness do not come from beating yourself up or arguing with the past. If we're always going to the past, this keeps us stuck, and it prevents us from creating a future that looks different than our past. I have talked about stories on this podcast before, right? We all have stories that we tell about our lives. Now, while there is a place for sharing memories of our past and telling the truth about what happened to us can be very powerful and helpful. However, reiterating and rehashing a story over and over again without changing it is probably not helpful or necessary. Explaining our current condition based on something that happened to us in the past doesn't serve us because it no longer exists anywhere but in our own mind. Our past is only in our own mind. I know this can seem hard to wrap your brain around, but it is a very important concept that I teach and important to understand. I had a coach once describe it this way. If you had amnesia and someone talked to you about your past, it would have no influence on you in terms of what you're currently thinking. When you're feeling pain from something that happened in your past, it is not the past that is painful. It is what you are thinking and believing about the past that is causing you pain. You are having a new thought about something in your past, and it's creating a new feeling. This concept is life-changing. You cannot experience pain from your past. What happened to you in your past is over. The only pain you are experiencing now is the pain you are creating now. Whatever you did or someone did to you cannot affect you now. The only way it can affect you now is if you create a situation where you are currently a victim. If you feel shame, it isn't because of your past. It is because of what you are currently thinking about your past. This can seem frustrating, and you may want to argue with me on this, but this is such good news, I promise. What if the good news is that you get to look at your life however you would like? What if everything happened exactly as it was supposed to, so you could have the life you were meant to have? Dan Sullivan teaches it this way, that you get to take from your past what you want, and you get to leave the rest of it behind. You get to decide what you want to think about it. You get to decide what you're going to make it mean. You get to decide, you get to take with you the lessons and the growth that you've gained. You get to choose what you're going to focus on. Notice, pay attention. How do you feel when you tell the story of your past? And if it doesn't feel good, maybe it's time for a new focus. In the King James Version of the Bible, in the Bible dictionary, it states that the Greek word for repentance actually denotes a change of mind, a fresh view about God, about oneself, and about the world. It's a change of focus. If you desire to create a life you love, a life full of connection with yourself, others, and God, it can begin by changing your focus from the past to the future. Now, I have 3 tips that I want to share with you that will help you, I believe, to refocus. Number 1, be present. I invite you to just take a deep breath and slow down. So often we are past focus because we believe we aren't where we should be yet, or that things are different than we believe they're supposed to be. This all comes from fear. Fear is always in a hurry, in a rush for things to be different. Fear is always believing that there is a problem. But what if you could pause and just breathe? Allow yourself to slow down and be present, right where you are, and remind yourself that actually nothing has gone wrong. You are fine in this very moment. You don't have to live anywhere than right where you are in that moment. So there is power in pausing to be present. Number 2, be human. Remind yourself in those moments that you are human and that you are having a mortal experience, which means you are going to have a life full of 50-50. You're going to have uncomfortable emotions and comfortable emotions. You're going to have things that don't work out as planned and things that will work out as planned. You aren't always going to be happy. You're not always going to show up in a way you love. And guess what? That's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. That's why you're here on earth, to experience mortality, not to get it right all the time, but to actually make mistakes, to experience opposition, to learn, to grow, to become. And with this comes grace, practicing grace for yourself through all of this human experience, practicing grace through your journey. So, number 3, be grateful. Appreciate your past self for all she did for you, all she did to bring you where you are today, for the lessons, for the growth that has occurred along the way. Be grateful for the ability to let go and to become free from something someone said to you yesterday, or free from something that happened to you when you were 12 or 18. But be grateful for the things you can think about now about your past that will actually bring you joy. Be grateful, appreciate where you are and what you've learned. I know that can seem hard sometimes, but what's the downside of being grateful for what you've learned and for what your past self did for you to get you where you are? So those are my 3 tips. Be present, be human, and be grateful. That's all I have for you today, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.